welcome to another episode of Paws Play. This is our special Halloween episode, and we have a special guest today, Vellum. See, he actually knows how to use gestures. I'm going to sit here and fist at everybody, because I don't know how to use proper gestures.
Make sure you use protection.
Yeah. So, starting with the left, we've got...
Hello, it's the gay one.
Hi.
Well, hello, I am Dameron the Arctic Wolf.
I am Suite, the red panda. You already know me.
It's the bun.
Over here we got a snack.
Stop it,
I thought that was on this side.
Hey guys, most of you know me as Drafter. This character is a rune.
And then I'm Wolf Masters. Obnoxious as always, and usually the one throwing everything off, and for whatever reason trying to keep us on track this time.
Hi, friends. Basically, what we're doing today is we're sitting around this digital, sexy, delicious campfire amidst the stars in some kind of desert mountain area. Like, I don't know where I am. I was kind of just like kidnapped and brought here. But now we're going to be telling scary stories over this combustion pit that produces light and warmth, just like us. If you like light and warmth, it's time to like and subscribe, bestie. You've been waiting for this moment your whole life. Look, they're shooting stars. Make a wish. Support furry content on YouTube because you're fucking awesome, bestie.
What's being cooked? Because that shit's been bubbling for a while.
For this episode, we're going to go around telling some scary stories, either personal or stories we've heard. Each of us is going to share one or two stories. We'll let you guys decide which one's the best.
All right. Are you ready for the scariest story you've ever heard in your whole life ever? So scary. Are you ready?
Sashay away.
I will. Believe it. So,
Bless you, Terry. Bless
the first thing I have to tell you, is this is absolutely a true story. This totally happened. This is 100% real, okay? So there was a small fox, and he's on the pathway, and there's a lot of grass, and it's dark out. It's about 8:30 p.m. Eastern in the summer. You know how it gets really dark at 8:30 p.m. Eastern in the summer? It's really bad. Small fox, right? In the woods. There was a man in the woods too, and he was walking towards the small fox. And the fox, his heart starts going a little bit, you know what I mean? Fox says,
"What do you want?"
and the man says,
"I want chicken nuggets."
So the fox throws a bunch of chicken nuggets on the ground. And the man grows 3 new rows of teeth and shreds the nuggets. And the fox starts crying, but he runs away really fast. He runs into a witch. The witch says, "Hello, would you like some candy, little fox?" And the fox says,
"God, would I? I'm so tired and famished, and I love candy."
and the witch says, "Okay, well, I have this new candy, and it looks like a skull." Fox says,
"Okay, cool."
so he holds the skull candy in his paw, and that terrified the fox because he was lied to again. The skull candy was actually a pair of headphones, so the fox runs away. Finally, the fox ran into a large hungry lion, and the lion says,
I've been out here for 3.5 weeks. I haven't eaten anybody or anything for a long time. What are you gonna give me?
and the fox says,
I would love some chicken nuggets.
and the lion says,
No, you got it wrong. I'm the hungry one. What are you gonna give to me?
and the fox says,
Oh, well, cool. I have chicken nuggets.
and the lion says,
Awesome. I cannot wait to eat some chicken nuggets.
so the fox gives the last of his chicken nuggets. Or were they chicken nuggets? Well, they weren't. Now they were skull candy. The fox was like,
I just had a 50-piece chicken nugget, and I got it on a huge discount. And I got this fucking cursed-ass, witch-ass skull candy, and I'm pissed off.
and then a volcano erupts and wipes out the forest. The end.
What the hell?
Oh, sorry. Ah!
Oh, thank you.
Oh my! I was
It's
just
fine.
thinking about like Halloweens that we've spent together and whatnot. Like the first time Draft, we went to Erebus when Draft was visiting once, and it was rainy, and it was his first haunted house experience here in Michigan. And I remember you were freezing out in the cold until we got the chance to go into the haunted house. So Erebus is a kind of a big haunted house thing that happens in the greater Detroit area of Michigan. And I think they just finished doing the buried alive scenario, and it was just the aliens that were invading situation, I think is what it was. Do you remember?
I don't.
It was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I've been there so many times I can't keep them all straight.
I think it was the aliens thing.
Yeah. Anyway, there wasn't anything like super scary. It's just it's an experience. Other haunted houses that I also enjoy going to in the local area is Wired's Haunted Attractions, and that's in Ypsi. They feature 3 different haunted houses, a haunted hayride, and a insane clown spiral room of fuck-uppery, make your head spin kind of thing. But what was really nice is if you did the haunted hayride at the end, you got a cider and donuts when it was over. And then you can shop for that stuff too. Overall, a lot of good times and experiences around Halloween, and I think it's also a good chance to just enjoy some time with friends and fires and cider and donuts, depending on where you go. So not really a scary story, but just the good vibes of fall and leading into the things that we get thankful for in Thanksgiving.
So I will tell a story. It's going to be one of my nightmares, because those are like the best horror stories. I had this reoccurring dream when I was in university years and years ago, and it would always start the same. Me and a bunch of my friends would be walking up a hill towards one of my other friends' houses, but it wasn't really his house. You know how dreams are, where you're kind of going around. You see something, your brain decides this is the house. So instead of being in a trailer park, it was just isolated at the top of this hill. So we took our time. We went up to the house. I remember the old stone walkway and all that stuff. And he hadn't lived there for years. Years and years and years. We're looking for this friend. His name was James. We go inside the house, and instead of it being a bungalow, it now has a second floor. I get enticed in the living room. I see this old TV. One of those ones that would sit on the floor, the big tube, you know, absolutely gaudy and extremely heavy. And on top of it, there was this photograph of a man and a woman. The woman in a bridal gown, and the man just standing there in a t-shirt. This obviously wasn't his house. It's obviously a dream, I think. And I turn around to see where my friends are at, and none of them are there anymore. We all walked in together. It was quiet. So I start to panic a little bit, and I look back at the picture, and the man is sad, and the woman has her eyes closed. I'm now confused. I decide to go to where the kitchen should be, and it's a parlor instead. And there's a door to the back. I went through the parlor, I opened the door, and again, instead of a trailer court, it's just this big open field with a fence. The grass is so overgrown, you can't see much past where the fence is. It's just creepy. I turned around, I went back in the house. I ended up back at the TV with the photograph. It kept pulling my attention. This time, the man wasn't there, and the woman was crying. I'm starting to get a little freaked out, so I call for my friends. There's no one around. No one answers me. I go out the front door, and it's locked. So I turn around, and I hear something from the second floor, which shouldn't be there. I went up the stairs, caught a glimpse of something bright and not very natural, at least to me. And so I ran back down the stairs and decided to go out the back. The picture pulls me in again, but this time the girl is gone and the man is dead. He's stabbed multiple times, laying on the floor. I panic. I turn to go to the parlor, and all of a sudden this ghostly figure of a woman in a wedding dress with a skull for a face and sinew everywhere. Like the most disgusting thing you could think of grabs me, and I hear a crunch, and I didn't wake up. I just kind of stayed there in darkness. And I don't remember the rest. And that's my scary story.
I want to go on a little bit of a choose your own adventure. Do you want a dream about how I have gained a fear, or a dream about one Halloween party?
Ooh, talk about the fear for me.
The fear, for sure.
Okay.
Was it a sexy Halloween party?
It was not a sexy Halloween party.
Let's go with the fear. Let's go with the fear here.
So, a few years ago, when I was still in college, my last year, I was living in an apartment. During that time, I was, in this apartment, they would every once in a while do regular fire drills where the fire department would come in and they'd check everyone's fire alarms, make sure that there was nothing that was going to blow up and actually cause a fire in those apartments, and then they'd leave. One of those times, I had heard about it a couple days before, and I forgot about it. So I went to bed pretty late the night before they were doing these checks. I was in a really deep sleep. It actually turned into a bit of a nightmare, where things are chasing you and things are being spooky the whole time. I don't exactly remember all the details for that, but I remember at the very end of this dream, I was cornered by some sort of beast monster thing, and as soon as it is about to actually grab me and everything, I wake up to 3 burly men opening up my bedroom door, yelling, "Fire department!"
It became the centerfold in. Sorry.
So the dream was the sexy choice.
Plot twist.
I woke up. I was about to have a heart attack, I swear. And the fireman's like, "Oh, sorry," and then he fucking closed my door. I'm like,
What?
Okay, great.
What?
You were scared out of your minds, but your sheets were tempting.
At this point, I'm now afraid of breaking and entering. That's my fear.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's totally
Yeah, no.
legit.
Congratulations. Log number 1. You've all told your stories. Round of applause.
Growing up, I've always been an empath, so I've always been able to feel certain things and energies and things around me. I would always go to this one convention when I lived in Texas. I'd go to this convention in Oklahoma called Wild Nights, which you would stay in cabins. And I had 3 separate instances that happened. There's one, we were at a fireplace similar to this, but in the woods, and it just felt like we were being watched from behind us. So then I felt uncomfortable. We're like, let's go. And then I felt like when I was leaving, I felt I saw something just run across from my peripherals. And when we get up the hill heading to our cabin, I see 2 shadows going back and forth in front of one of the cabins. Mind you, there's no lights pointing towards those cabins. There's no lights coming out from inside the cabins. There's just shadows going back and forth. Third thing was, I was going to sleep early. I knew there was nobody else in the cabin with me. I went to bed, laid down, but I could feel something in the room with me. Got to the point where I was uncomfortable. I'm just like, "I don't want you here, please leave." Then I could hear the footsteps leaving the cabin into the woods.
No, thank you.
There was one year that my buddy Mike's son, he also goes by the name Yif Masters. Bye, Dune.
Sorry.
We decided that we wanted to go and hit up Erebus because it's my favorite haunted house. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the world's largest walk-through haunted house. It's got 4 floors. I love this place. I want everybody to go there and check it out. But we decided to bring our buddy James, who scares so incredibly easily. and we're just like, this is gonna be fun.
Me.
So when we go in there, there's a couple of different parts, and this was a couple years ago, so they may not actually have this anymore. But there were a couple of different parts where, like this one in particular, they want to separate the group, and they can see he's an easy scare. So they're like, you stand over here. He goes, what? Why? Stand over here. Okay. So he goes over there, he stands there, and the guy just says, say goodbye to your friends. He goes, what? Flips the wall, spins him around. Now he's on the opposite side, right where all of these other monsters are, and all we can hear is, ah! Just non-stop screaming. Just loud as hell. And we're dying. We think this is funny as shit. So we keep going through a little bit further, and there's this one part where this guy comes out and he's got a chainsaw, and he's just, you know, well, they removed the chain, but in the moment, it's kind of terrifying having some psycho killer come at you with a chainsaw. So he's screaming, he's crying, he's now down on the floor, crying in the fetal position. I turn to my buddy Mike and I'm like, hey, you want to ditch his ass? He goes, yeah, let's go. So we take off, and there's a flight of stairs, and I just book it up the flight of stairs. And as I'm running up, all of a sudden you see me, boom. I'm like, the hell? And he's like, what happened? I'm like, the ceiling. It ended. It was a foam padded ceiling, so as you go up, you now have to start crawling through the haunted house. And Mike was just like, dude, this is the greatest, because you didn't get to see what I saw. You got taken out by nothing. And I'm like, I really wish I could have seen that, because it sounded great. And yeah, by the time we made it to the end of the haunted house, there was another monster at the very end that just got him down in the fetal position crying again. And finally I'm like, all right, just grabbed his ass, yanked him back, and he's like, dude, you guys suck. I'm like, yeah, you want to come with us to next year? He goes, fuck yeah. Okay, let's go.
Hell yeah.
I'm on board. Bring me
have a lot
back.
of good memories there. They've done so well, they actually have an escape room now that goes all year, and they keep changing it up, but their escape rooms are actually really cool too. They had one that we made it through the first room, unlocked another room, then unlocked a secret door that had a staircase that led upstairs to another room to finish it. And it was so cool, and it was Egyptian themed, so when we got upstairs, there was Anubis up there. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I liked it for obvious other reasons than my partners who were trying to help solve it.
For those of you who don't know, before I became a full-time furry, not safe for work artist, I used to work in wildlife biology, wildlife technician, sort of style jobs. So I was working in Goshen, Mississippi, way down, like it's at very, very the southern tip of Mississippi. I was working this job basically tagging dusty gopher frogs, which is a highly endangered species out there. I won't get into it. We ran this drift fence around this one pond, one of two ponds that they existed in. And that basically meant that I went around this metal fence, picking up frogs, tagging them, and then releasing them back on the opposite side where they were heading towards. I worked the fence, which takes like 45 minutes or so. Basically, I'm just walking around this pond for about 45 minutes tagging frogs. Arrived just before sunset, opened up the fence, sit in my car for an hour or two, work the fence, sit in my car for an hour or two, work the fence, over and over and over again. So I was doing this all night. Basically, I would run until sunrise. While I was doing this, I was just basically on a sandy road, and I would just sleep in my car for a couple of hours, then I'd work the fence. One time when I got out, I looked down and I saw that there were like coyote tracks right outside my car. So like a coyote had come up to my car while I was sleeping, which I thought was really awesome. So from then on, I started looking for tracks. Anytime that I was working the fence, I'd take a look. And so this one time, I was in the car. My alarms woke me up, and I got out, checked for tracks. There were no tracks. Nothing interesting came by. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I finished up the round, and I started heading back to my car. I looked down just to see if there's any animals that walked by, and I do find tracks, but they are human footprints, bare feet. Footprints. Let me paint this picture a little bit more. This is around midnight or so in the middle of fucking nowhere, about 15 miles from the nearest cell signal, a good 20 miles from the nearest road. There's like nobody back here. So I thought. That clearly showed me that while I was working the fence, not 20 yards away, somebody in their bare feet in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, Social Mississippi, walked by my car, got into the car immediately because I said fuck that, locked the doors, checked the back seat, make sure there was nobody there. Nothing was stolen, nothing was taken, and so I just locked the doors and vroom, went back, drove to the highway to get some cell service, called my buddy who was at the other pond, working the fence over there, and said, hey, there's a human being out here. I don't know what they're doing, but they're definitely not stable. And so they came back, we checked the fence, closed it up, and said, fuck that for the night. The next day we went and decided, okay, let's take account of what the hell is going on. So we went and found the tracks, they were still there, and we followed them. They were heading deep into the woods for a good, maybe 100 yards or so, but then the sand started like kind of turning into grass and we lost the trail. There are no homes back there, just woods. And this guy just walked in and didn't come out. That was my fun story when I was working for Dusty Dover Frogs in Mississippi.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Favorite scary movie? Aliens. But in terms of like horror comedy, Cabin in the Woods, hands down.
What are you afraid of
That
the
was a
most?
good
Heights and tornadoes.
Wolf, favorite scary movie?
I love the old campy Friday the 13th series, as well as Nightmare on Elm Street. But I think my favorite horror movie franchise is the Saw movies.
Phobia.
Definitely would be Buried Alive.
Draft. Favorite scary movie?
The only one that's ever kind of freaked me out a little was The Grudge, but when you see the eyeball like right in the screen or whatever. My biggest phobia would
It's
be
very faithful.
death itself, the unknown, basically.
Terry, what is your
Oh,
favorite
God.
scary movie?
I would have to say, this is a kind of a goofy one. I really enjoyed the remake of The Invisible Man.
And phobia, my
and
friend.
then my phobia is people breaking into my house.
Is your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is a toss-up between A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and Scream 1. The reason why it's a toss-up is because there's something in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 that's being told that we're not seeing because of behind-the-scenes crap that happened. Like, there's a story there that you can almost feel, but it doesn't come to fruition because of all the crap that went on behind the scenes.
Phobia.
I see myself in water, and I'm terrified of what's in there. Not anything real, not sharks or any... Quickly, one of my dreams is falling into water in a cave and sinking and sinking and sinking, and then something, a figure, grabs onto me, and then it just happens again and again and again. And I used to think that that's what hell was like. Princess, what is your favorite scary movie?
Well, shout out to all the Sam Raimi fans out there. Evil Dead, baby. Because I was a little kid when that movie came out, and my brothers were watching it, and I just remember the laughing from Linda when she was possessed, sitting in the doorway, laughing at Ash.
Right.
We're gonna get you, not another peep. Time to go to sleep.
And your biggest phobia?
My biggest phobia. I don't like the idea of getting burned alive or flayed.
It's
That it's
certainly
it
a
would-
optimal scenario.
the idea of
Hellraiser.
searing pain or having things carved off of me where that just it seems like hopefully you would go into shock, but that kind of pain just makes my skin crawl.
What is your favorite scary movie?
Favorite scary movie? Oh, there's a Neil Gaiman film called Mirror Mask. That's one of my favorite films of all time. That one's really, really fucking phenomenal. And then like The Black Cauldron, other animations of that along those lines, right? So that's kind of what I think of. Probably my favorite of those is Mirror Mask.
What's your biggest phobia?
Biggest phobia? I am deathly afraid of bees. That is real. I'm absolutely terrified of bees.
Give us your best bee shriek. You see a bee, it lands on you.
A bee
What do you
shriek?
do?
Channel your inner Ruby Rod.
No, you be the bee.
I'm a bee. I'm a bee.
I'm gonna move my camera.
No one mentioned. Showgirls. It's the most terrifying movie in the world.
Oh my god.
That acting. That acting.
Hey everybody, happy Halloween. Thanks for participating in the Paws Play Halloween episode special. What was your favorite scary story? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to read all your scary stories too. Let us know what freaks you out, BB. Ooh! Did you like hanging out with us at a campfire too? It was pretty fun. It was pretty cozy. We'll do more of this, maybe, if you let us know. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, which is probably gonna happen tomorrow.
Oh no.
My story wasn't even scary!